Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Eric. Now you join me for a summer 2025 update on my London Underground Model Railway, Harefield Road, which you can see behind me, and also for a very large announcement, which it is a bit late to announce it now, being as it is 6 days at the time of filming before we pack up and head out. But Harefield Road is going to the greatest gathering in Derby, which is extremely exciting. Myself and 5 of my closest friends are taking the layout, and we will be there from Thursday to Sunday, running trains, speaking to the public, and hopefully without too many issues. So those of you who don't recognise where I am, I'm actually in Milton Keynes Model Railway Club in Bletchley Park. If you've never heard of it, look them up. But I got in touch with one of their committee members, Carl, who's a friend of mine, and fired him over a very random off-the-cuff question saying, would I basically be able to bring my model railway for a week or so and set it up in your space and work on it? Now, I expected a flat no, you're mad, get out. But it actually turns out that they were okay with this, and we managed to make it work. They have dismantled an N-gauge layout which normally sits here to make the space, and the space we've got is 25 by 9, and the layout luckily is 23 by 8, so it just squeezes in. But this means we can have the whole layout up in one go, we can all work on it, we can kind of work out any snags, but mainly we can get the scenery all looking nice, because the trouble is at home, when you're working one board at a time, do the scenery on that, then you'll get another board out, do a bit of scenery on that, but when you put them together they won't always quite tally up and look right. So being able to have the whole thing out in front of us has been a godsend, to be honest. It's great to just be able to walk down the front. Bear in mind it is a bit of a thin gap and I am a large individual. I can just squeeze down there, but going down there you can kind of make a list and see what's what, whereas you can't kind of get that idea in your head when it's at home all sort of stacked up. So I've got to say a massive thank you to Milton Keynes Model Railway Club and to Carl for facilitating this. We couldn't actually, I don't think, have done it without them. So I really do owe them a big one. But on that note, actually, they are having a exhibition next summer. They do one every year, and it's going to be a change of venue. So the least I can do to say thank you is to take this along. So we're going to make that happen next year. Just a little thing for you there. But let's anyway move on and have a look around the layout and see what we've been up to. So before you all get bored of my voice and click off onto another YouTube channel, I thought we'd start with the obvious bit. I have started building the viaduct. So if anyone went to Chesham and saw the layout in its unfinished state, they would have noticed that the track bed was all raised up around here and it just looked like this. And that was because I wanted to build a nice big viaduct scene going around. Having travelled on the underground as a kid, I went down on the Piccadilly across South Harrow Viaduct many a time. Hence this, if you know what this is, 10 points for you. It is a real thing. But also I drive big trains on the railway, in case some of you don't know, and sometimes I drive big freight trains along the North London line, and I actually drive underneath the Metropolitan line on another viaduct in a similar fashion to this. So I thought it'd be a cool little thing to have. It's something different, and also it's nice to see the trains elevated against the scenery. But yeah, kind of to walk you around, obviously we had the scenic break being this little bridge before, but this little bridge stopped about a third of the way across. I do obviously need to cut in where the boards are joined, but this bridge now is being extended to full width, and that will take a full-size road and hopefully pavement either side, so that should be nice. I've also lowered the bridge massively. Now this might shoot me in the backside later on because it's very low. In fact, if you put a 66 under here, it just squeezes under. So it remains to be seen whether we get away with that. We basically need to get all of our stock up here that we're going to run and check what fits and what doesn't. And if we do have problems, I might eventually have to take the bridge back out and raise it up. So that was a bit of an oops on my part. But anyway, you go through the bridge and out the other side, we've got these lovely Bunter's Yard arches. So here's done me around 52 arches, I believe. Bearing in mind I am doing this section as well. So I was originally going to do just a viaduct the whole way round, and same on the back, obviously just arches all the way round like this, and this little middle section was going to be some industrial units. As you can see, we've got 4 on there. However, then I thought we could do something interesting with this. So those of you that have watched my video building my depot layout, Croxley Hall, will have noticed that I used the Weissman car system to get some movement on the road network. Now I've actually done the same on here after doing all that. So under this road is a Weissman car motion set of magnetic tapes and strips. So you've basically got a glorified loop around here. Obviously on this board I've not fitted it just yet. So this will be just a big loop. Then when the vehicles get here, they have the option of going straight on. Then when the vehicles get here, they have the option of going straight on again, or they can turn right and they can go in this arch, they can go around the back, and they can come back out again, cross over, and then come back out into the main loop. Now, the reason I want to do this is because eventually, being a London theme, I want to have a load of London buses, hence, obviously, there are a few appearing. And I think that would be a nice little feature, having buses go in and out, because obviously we can facilitate charging and swapping them out behind here. So this is hollow underneath, but I just thought it'd be something a little bit different at the back rather than go straight into arches, and it's also a bit of a space filler, so it's pretty cool. But yeah, you can see down there, you go through the arches, there is a bit of a brick wall there. We've got another bus hidden down the back just for a bit of scenery, and then it's just a glorified return loop. Something a bit different. Coming along here, as I said, just a usual girder bridge, and the standard kind of style you get. Now, if you've been shouting at the telly or your phone about this, yes, you are correct. It is modelled on South Harrow Gasworks. So there is a little stub that has basically been cut off from South Harrow Viaduct, and this is what it looks like. It does have an extra support under here. I've got another one somewhere to glue in, and then obviously we've got to build the scenery up around it. But basically the line used to come off and go to a gasworks, and then they chopped it off, demolished the line when the gasworks shut, and then there are flats here, I believe. But obviously I've just kind of made it fit in the space. But the reason I've put it there is because when the public stand around the side, they can look down the track bed and look towards the station, and from eye level you can actually just about see down the sort of bay platform. So I think it's a cool little addition, and hopefully people will enjoy it. So moving on from there slightly, again, we've just gone back to standard arches on the viaduct for this section, and then this is where I'm going to have a couple of retail units. Now, Bunter's Yard, who I mentioned earlier, did laser cut me all of these arches, and he's done me loads of stuff in the past as well, and there's more to come. So as a little thanks, these two units are going to be a Bunter's Yard shop. We're going to label them up as such. Then these two, I'm going to think of something random to put in those. The little high street at the back is just something I wanted to do. I thought it'd be quite cool to have something like that, where it's also kind of slightly hidden, so you don't really see it straight off until you look over. But that's basically going to be the front of the shops. This is going to be the back. So we'll have to get a little bit of signage or something to say that parking's around the rear. I don't know, we'll have a think about it. But I've gone for wheels paving on here, and used some plastrut strips to make the curbs. Obviously they need a little bit of painting still, and the road again is just plain tarmac sort of colour paint at the minute, so that needs doing. But yeah, it's all sort of tying in, and I want the little street scene to just continue, so I'll need another little sort of shop here or something like that, and then this is going to be where the main road goes down and across. I think I might change my mind on that. You know what I'm like with ripping stuff up and doing something new. These arches aren't currently fixed in place permanently, hence they look a bit wonky. That's because I need to get in the back and sort out the inside of these ones and glaze the backs of these sort of lattice frames. That's why. The pavement on the front is tarmac, just to make it a little bit different to that side. But yeah, that kind of covers it. The building's on the back. I had this already. I don't know if you guys remember my old layout when it was in the bedroom upstairs in my house. This building was on the corner, and it's split down here, and it was full relief as well. So I've cut that up, much to my friend's shock and horror who built it for me. Few bits still to do because it has suffered a little from being stored over the years. It's a bit wonky now, so I need to sort it out and strengthen it up. But we can get that sorted, no problem. But this is based on a building in Northwood Hills. If you go on Google Earth and look at Northwood Hills, which is where I grew up, the corner building here is actually a Pepe's. So I changed it to a Nando's because at the time I was in Nando's constantly. We've got Drape's Bakes, which is named after my missus. We've got Anthony's little satellite shop there of AGR, and we've got Richardson's Cycles, which is a bike shop which my friend that built it wanted to put in. Next to it, we've got just a Bachmann Scenecraft building, which I picked up the other day. It is a low relief BT's shop. So the BT's logo obviously needs to change. We'll put something else on there because it doesn't really match up with the era of the layout. And obviously we've already got a model railway shop there. But it matched this really nice, and size wise it was perfect so that we could have a bus stop in there, because obviously it's set back slightly further. So but that basically covers that, and I suppose we should probably move on to the main layout and see what changes have happened. Well then, back on Harefield, and where the bridge scenic break was before, again that's back in now. It's lower down, this embankment's all changed. This road has changed, but I've got to obviously finish that off. We've got some fencing going in, new cable arch in a different position, because the old one used to get hit by longer vehicles such as Mark III coaches. And this is one by, is it Inoxium Models? I think it is, but I like the look of this one, and it's quite robust as well. So hopefully that will stand up a little bit better than the previous one, although I do have one of the other designs down the far end which has been strengthened with plenty of florist wire and resin, so that should be plenty good enough to see us through. The bridge has changed from blue brick to red brick, as you can see. I still need to do the little pieces up the top here. It's the same girder piece that was there before, so that should do us for now. We have got cable arches, cable hangers going all the way round up to the viaduct, and of course across here we've got the little access point here to get onto the track so workers can go under, which means we've put a set of gates in the fence. Got a little permanent fixed red signal underneath the bridge now, because I want to get this area all sorted so that I can permanently attach the bridge. As you can see, it's still loose, so we'll come to that. But the big thing here is I've actually changed all the tracks. So we ripped this up and it's been relayed completely, and it's now code 75 throughout on the back main lines, and the little bay platform on the front is all bullet to match the branch line. So that's a really nice little addition that I wanted to do for ages. I did do the far station board before the Chesham show, so it was just these two that were left as code 100, so I've been itching to crack on and do those. So it's nice to have them sorted. The station itself, the canopy is going to stay the same. The only change is I'm in an iron whether to keep this building or whether to put my Northwood Hills building on instead and just modify the bridge to suit. I'm in an iron about it. I'm not 100% sure, because it all depends on time pretty much. So it's the kind of thing where if it gets to the day before the greatest gathering and we've got enough time, then I might bodge it in there. Because I just think it fits a little nicer now that we've got a main road here, and that this is now just more of like a smaller little bridge, a bit more like Ickenham if you've ever been there. Ickenham has quite a narrow road bridge over the top of it with paving one side and then just a small little station building, so it would be very similar. But that kind of covers that. We've got obviously more to do. It needs weathering. We've got the fourth rail mostly in. This board has never had any fourth rail in since I've built it, so we are getting that in, but I've got to put the fourth rail in under here before I glue the bridge down, of course, and get a bit of paint on there, because we'll never be able to access it again because you can't really get hands in there. Moving on this way, not a lot has changed. Saying that the car park is changing ever so slightly, that's about it. We are fencing off the car park here, where it's already done. In fact, I did that last night. So this is going to be sort of wasteland just for access for sort of railway workers' vehicles, whereas the car park is now just going to be this section, and we'll just imagine the rest is off scene if you like. But yeah, the fence is all in, that's good, about time. So back to where I was, the water tower has now been glued back in after it got broken off some time ago. There is still a little bit of damage on it to fix one day, but I'm not overly fussed, and I've put another layer of scatter down to give it like a kind of pathway kind of look to it. Moving down further, not much has changed down this end of the station, apart from obviously the track. It's pretty much as it was. We've got to get these signals working because they're quite an obvious thing really. So if I've got time, I've got all the stuff here then I will solder up some LEDs to go in there and try and get them working with the Z21 app. And now the layout itself is much the same as it was at Cheshire, other than scenery on the embankments and things. So Peter has been hard at work learning the trade of rubberized horsehair. And as you can see, there is a lot of it appearing. He's got more to do, but it's really starting to get there now. So this was all just plain grass on the embankments. I mean, there was a bit of colour variation to it, much like this piece over here, but it all just looked very same old. But you can see there, Peter has been hard at work with the horsehair. So he's basically took loads of horsehair, he's ripped it all up, put it down in certain little sections. He's then spray painted it brown, and then he's gone over the top with a green scatter, and then also he's going over the top of the green once it's done with some little bits of purple here and there to give the effect of buddleia. That's really cool and it looks great. He's also put a little pathway in here. He got a bit bored last night, I think. So he's put a little dirt path in there, and it leads down to a little bench. So we said about having an idea for a little sort of train spotters location, so that they can look over the fence and watch the trains come round off the triangle. So we thought that'd be an ideal little spot, and this is where he's chosen to put a little bench. I really like it. And then we've got the little mud path coming down towards the canal, and that looks really good. You might notice as well a couple extra trees. So these are the lovely etched brass trees that you could get from 4D Model Shop. We've got a few of those on the layout. They are super nice. Sadly, 4D closed down recently, so thankfully Peter was going on one of the last days they were open. I got him to grab me about 5 extra trees, so that's where these have come from. Not cheap, but they are worth their weight in gold. They're beautiful things, and obviously they're quite strong, being etched brass and also flexible, so they won't just snap. They are the same trees that are in front of the substation, but obviously just they're all slightly different, and these are also a little bit bigger. But they really kind of bring the scene to life and give it a bit of height, because it was looking a bit flat over here. But it's also nice because it gives you an extra little sort of viewpoint where you can put a camera through them and you can see the trains coming past in the background, and it just looks so much more realistic having something like that. Other than that, we have got this little area going on. Now, this board was very plain. The idea of this board was to keep it kind of simple scenery-wise, because the focus then is on the trains themselves. However, we looked at it, and compared to the rest of the layout, it was probably a little bit boring. And we then decided, why not do a little GSMR aerial? Because most places, you need them every now and again now. And obviously, we are running mainline stock as well as LU. I got these from PGM Models at a show. I think it was Key Model World Live or something, from the Hornby mag stand. So I've got 2 of those. They're 3D printed, so fingers crossed we don't knock them, because they will probably snap. But Anthony also had this little generator building in his shop. It's a Batman Scenecraft item, and if you look at pictures of GSMR masts online, this is almost bang on for what you need. So that's been glued in there. Obviously we took the scenery out to get that in. This set of steps is an old, they're old offcuts from a scale model scenery kit, which is the same steps as on the station car park, as you can see there, going up just without handrails, and also down on the canal on this end. And I just had enough where we could go up the embankment for a little access point. So that's pretty cool. And obviously Peter's been hard at work filling this side in, because I said I wanted it kind of built into all the buddleia and bushes and stuff to kind of hide it and make it look like it's been there a long while. So he's still thinking about what to do this side, whether to do the same kind of thing or not. We'll see what he gets up to tonight when he arrives. And also the palisade fencing, which Peter and Anthony have been fitting, now goes all the way along these 2 boards, comes down here to this GSMR aerial. Then there is a gap here, because I'm currently waiting on a delivery from West Hill Wagon Works, because they sell angled palisade fencing. So that's why we've got a gap. So that's going to go up here. Then we've got a little gate for the access point, and then a bit of fencing here which will go off scene. And the idea for that is that theoretically, obviously, you will have fencing the whole length of the layout, but I wanted it to come off scene so that you can get in here and have an unrestricted view for about, what is that, 7 foot, something like that. So I think that will be a nice little touch, and obviously it saves us a lot of fencing. So you'll also notice that there is some more bushes around things like the signal box, the little siding down the front for the locos, and it's kind of popping up here and there. There's some down here where there was just plain static grass before, as well as this area. Now this is pretty much all Woodland Scenics I think it's underbrush or underbush, I can't remember how it's actually spelt. And Peter got a bit carried away and thought he would chuck a load of that in, and I'm glad he did, because it looks really good. It gives it that kind of overgrown, messy look, rather than just be plain static grass like this, where it looks a bit too samey and boring. But that's all sort of springing up. I think he's going to put a load in between the horsehair on these sections as well. So we've basically just got to keep an eye and see where he gets to. It all depends again on time, but it really does help, especially if you look at the signal box. It just sort of frames it in lovely, and it looks really nice when you look across it with a train going behind. And just to show you the view from the other side, of course there is still much work to be done, but you can see it just saves it being so plain and boring. It really kind of brings it to life with a bit of messiness to it. Especially the couple trees, the GSMR mast, adding that little bit of height helps a lot, I think. Just brings it all to life. But it's a bit weird seeing it like this with no back scenes on. Obviously they do just bolt on, apart from this one over here, which is screwed in. This is a temporary one. But it's nice to see the whole layout in its entirety, to be honest. We have got the feeder yard up as well, but it's currently a bit of a mess because we are working on a lot of stuff. We have got the 1962 scrap train out. So I did get my 37 weathered. I did it myself. Looked at a couple reference pictures and just had a go with washes and stuff. It's probably a little heavy, but I wanted something filthy. It matches the VDA vans, the match wagons, quite nice. And then I went over my 62 stock train with a load of washes too, and a little small bit of airbrushing to dirty that up. But what's happening now is, you'll remember this was only a 4-car train before. If you went to Chesham, you would have seen that on the branch line there was a heavily graffitied up 62 stock parked up. Now this is Peter's handiwork, all of this weathering and graffiti, and it looks awesome. However, it was only a static model, and me being me, I have pretty much all the bits to motorise these old EFE trains just kicking about in my log cabin. So I managed to dig out enough bogies and enough wheel sets to get this going. We've got one more car to do, hence it's currently a 7-car set. So this is, again, as I say, Peter's handiwork. He did this mostly with pens, washes, and all the graffiti is authentic graffiti from London, hence like Helch or Eat the Rich. You'll see all this sort of stuff when you're around central London. It's not just random stuff pulled out of nowhere. He's actually properly done some research and gotten at it with this, and it looks incredible. I wish mine looked the same, to be honest, because he's done a mad job with that. And then we've got the little VDA van on the back with the flash and tail lamp. So the hope is that we can get this to run reliably as an 8-car rake. It did run reliably enough as a 4-car, so we're just going to cross fingers with that. We've got to sort a few issues out with the couplings because they're too close on this set, whereas my set has got some custom brass ones. So we're going to have to mess around with that. We might have to make some out of plasticard to get us by. We shall see. Fiddle yard wise though, I don't think we're going to have time to do a lot with it. The eventual plan, we have got enough points in so that we can go to 5 roads on each direction and have a centre road. The reason we have a centre road that's a dead end is because you can come out of the fiddle yard, you can run along the layout, you can go across the points into the bay platform, which is a fixed red at the back, so you can only run in, you can't run out the other side. And then the idea is, when you've got a gap, you will bring that train back out, back along the main line. It will come all the way round into the fiddle yard on the other line, but then of course you will come across into the middle and be ready to do the same move again. So the thinking there is we'll have either an S stock or a Heritage London Transport bit of rolling stock doing that on like a shuttle every now and again, just to keep the public entertained while stuff is running around in a circle. It's nice to have something parked out the front in this platform for a little while, while things run past. The same can be said about the little siding here. I want to make sure that we get the hang of running in and out of this siding because it's quite good fun, and again it gives people something to look at. You can display a loco there, or you can also get like a couple steam on the Met locos, for example. But it's just basically getting it in our head and working out the moves and going from there, really. So when we get time, as I say, I will adjust the footer yard. So we'll have a 10 road footer yard with a centre road, so 11 in total, providing it all fits. But I have measured it and it should be fine. And the centre road we will just make long enough so you can stack 2 trains up, one behind the other, basically. So you just send the first one out, move the second one up, and then so forth, go from there. This board, there's no point doing anything on it, which is a shame because all the track on this board is exactly where it needs to be to actually facilitate the footer yard being reworked. However, this board is not staying. The reason for that is because I've now got a square 3x3 board, which is the same footprint as the curved one. So the curved one actually takes up a 3x3 space, but obviously just without the edges on. Reason being, those that have been following on other social media channels might have seen me mention before that I actually want to build the other side of the triangle. To build the other side of the triangle, we need a point so that we can go that way. Now you will notice the point is in there. I got carried away. I fit the point because I did intend to get my saw out and cut this piece of baseboard off and just bodge up a little bit of baseboard there. But it's just not worth it. I want it to run reliably, so we're going to sack this curved board off, and now we've got a nice straight board. And the original baseboards that I had on my terminus station, one of those, which was a tapered 1 foot into 2 foot board, 4 foot long, will fit here, and it will sit about here. So you can see the angle of that point. That's no problem at all. It will just cut past the back of this bit of track and scenery, and this will form a little tunnel. There is a tunnel in the real location that would pop out over here somewhere, and then of course you will go round the curve, and that will lead off one day towards the terminus station / traverser, depending on how far I get, and that will allow you to go into Croxley Hall Depot, which is designed to bolt on the end of this, which obviously is a nightmare because that's going to make the layout about 45 foot long. So we'll see how we get on with that. So I think the only other thing to mention is this little area here. Sadly, we've not had time to sort this. Now, I did want to ask Tim to do me a triangle baseboard to go in this gap so that the scenery could seamlessly carry on. But we've not had time, so we're going to have to make do with a right angle back scene again. It's not the end of the world. It doesn't look too bad. But this is the Croxley tip sidings. Now, obviously, we've only got a small part of it, and we don't actually have enough track in to get a loco in there and put it back into the siding. So what we're going to do is temporarily put a piece of track in here and just rig it up for now, and put a quick little 2-pin plug underneath probably. But eventually there is going to be scenery on this board on this side. So hence I was saying earlier about this back scene being temporary. So I actually want to continue the canal, and I want to have a canal lock just around here somewhere under this baseboard, so that the level of the canal comes up to match the surrounding scenery, and it's so the canal basically drops just to go under the bridges. So that will bring the canal level up, and then next to it, this will basically run straight into a point, and we'll have 2 lines just going along this edge of the baseboard, and then we can have a small little area here where we can take the loco off, swap it one road to the other, and then send it back out. So the back scene eventually will be here, but it's going to instead angle across, and the scenic break will be hidden by a couple of trees or something, and that will just allow us to run short little pannier tank trains in here with a few wagons, a bit of shunting, something fun for people to do if they're over in this corner. So what's the plan then after the Greatest Gathering? Well, obviously being here, we're quite fortunate. We've got this space where the whole layout can go up in one go. We are essentially packing it down next Wednesday and putting it straight in a large sprinter sized van to take up to Derby. I'll be doing that with one of the other boys, and then we'll be going up there on the Thursday. From there, obviously, most of you will be aware, it doesn't fit in my log cabin anymore. My log cabin is 17 foot by 9 foot internally. The layout is 23 foot by 9 foot. However, the layout is built to be semi-modular, in the fact that the fiddle yard, you can actually compress the fiddle yard down. So I plan on basically removing 2 boards of the fiddle yard, messing about with it so that all kind of works. Then we will also not have this board in the cabin, so we'll have no canal seam, no big junction, and we won't have this board either. So both of the 4 by 3 boards will basically be stacked up. That will allow me, however, to have the viaduct. Oh, where have I gone? That will allow me to have the viaduct in my little man cave. I can have the 3 station boards up to here, and then all I need to do is basically make a curved piece that comes round, and then we'll eventually join up into the fiddle yard again. So rest assured, we will be able to sort something out when it's at home so that we can get some trains running again, because other than Chesham, this layout has not run since September last year, I think it was. And I've not had it up in my cabin, been able to work on it. I've not been able to run any trains, which is part of the reason I built the depot. Although, to be honest with you, I've not really felt like it. I've not had the mojo, so this has really kind of G'd me up, and I want to have it permanently able to run stuff. The other advantage with that is not being able to have the canal scene and the Croxley junction boards in the cabin layout means I can take them out and I can use them to build off in that direction for doing the branch line and connecting up the other side of the junction. A lot to do. So other little bits, stuff that I learned at Chesham, as we didn't really have a debrief, I don't think. Off the top of my head, we had heat expansion issues on the fiddle yard because I laid the fiddle yard in a massive hurry. It's all just big long pieces of track just pinned in. There were no expansion joints. So when we were at Chesham, we were directly in front of the window. Whoops. The sun was shining on the layout and some of the track went nice and S-shaped. So all we're doing is we are getting the Dremel, we're cutting through them sections of track, putting some fish plates in, and then I will eventually solder some little link wires in just to make sure we have proper nice continuity across each bit of track. So I don't want to rely on the fish plates only for basically keeping the track together. So that's sorting that problem. Also, I bought 2 Uhlenbrock Daisy controllers from James Hudson at DC Train Automation before Chesham. We had 2 on the layout and that was not enough. Obviously we had about 4 operators, so what were the other 2 doing all the time? Well, they couldn't really do a lot. So I've now got 4 controllers. We're putting some extra plug-in panels in. And the nice thing about the Daisy controllers is you can plug them in, they'll fire up in about 5 seconds. You can control your train, you can control the functions, you can unplug it, plug it in somewhere else, and it'll remember where you left off. So you can then carry on operating your locomotive. And that's something I really like, and that's something that not all controllers seem to do or allow. So that was a massive bonus. My train control system's UWT100, one really nice, very expensive, 350 quid hand throttle, is a piece of rubbish. And it doesn't really seem to want to work anymore. You can't rely on it, so we went for a wired option, especially after seeing other wireless layouts have multiple issues at shows. On that kind of subject though, layout control, it is still currently going to be through the Z21 app. The DR5000 that runs the layout has been upgraded with the Yamork upgrade, which gives you a Wii throttle server, Wi-Fi server, whatever you want to call it. So you can actually connect on your phone and use Wii Throttle app to control trains if you want. That did get us out of a muddle before. But the main use for that is we can connect the iPad straight to the DR5000 control station and control routes and stuff in that way, which makes life a lot easier. So that pretty much sums it all up, what I've been up to, where the layout is up to now, and our plans. The only thing I've not touched on is this bit of the viaduct. We haven't got time to build it, so we're instead building a false back scene across here. So that will come at a later date. You'll have to wait and see on that one. So we'll have to find another show that we can do where we can update this and show you all. And on that note, there is a very big show invite that I've got on my emails. And that is a rather large show in Milton Keynes run by AGR Model World. I'm sure you can work out which one it is. Now, when I first started building a model railway a few years back, that was my end goal, because obviously it's local to me, all my friends go, and it's a bit of a buzz to go there and a bit of a social thing. Excuse my phone going off. So I'm really excited by that, and hopefully we'll have some more to show you by then. But for now, I guess we're going to hopefully do the greatest gathering. I'm going to ask Peter very nicely, because he does videos and things for work, if he will record the event for us so we can chuck something together for a video. Fingers crossed we have 4 days playing trains, 3 days with the public, without too many issues. We will obviously update you as and when, and look forward to seeing you if you're attending the event. So if you've made it this far through the video of me waffling on about my London Underground Model Railway, thank you for watching. Hopefully you enjoy what you see, and if you've got any comments, please leave them down below. For more regular updates, follow me on my social media channels. Just search for Underground Eric. I'm on all the main stuff, so you'll find me there. And I look forward to seeing you all at the greatest gathering. Take care all.